I'm Steve Cash. I am half of Two Dog Farm. I operate most of the meat production side of things, and along with that, most of the haymaking. Sue and I obviously share responsibilities on everything, but we kind of have it divided up as to who manages what, and I have the beef, pork, the hay, and then we co-manage maple syrup. Currently we have 6 cows, which are Angus Hereford crosses, 6 pigs, some are Berkshires, some are Tamworths. We hay about 60 to 70 acres worth of fields, and in terms of maple syrup, we have a 14 to 1500 tap operation and made 460 gallons this year.
And I'm Sue Cat. I'm the other half of Two Dog Farm. So in addition to helping Steve with the maple syrup and the other projects around here, I'm primarily responsible for about 1.5 acres of organic vegetables, certified organic, and about 1 acre of high bush blueberries. And then we also sell organic seedlings. Our products are direct, it's all pretty much direct marketing. We don't do much wholesale. And we're doing some CSAs for the vegetables and the beef and the pork. And we're also doing, at the moment, 3 farmers markets: Ludlow and Rutland and Dorset.
Direct marketing, it's easier to explain your product to someone. You know, for instance, we have pigs that we just got back from a butcher, and it's whole sausage pig, which means that all the cuts from the pigs go in there, including the tenderloin and everything like that. And so if you have sausage for sale for $8 a pound, if you can explain that to someone, it's much easier to do that than dealing with someone who wants to make a 20% markup as a middleman or, you know, anything like that. I feel like for small farms, you really have to step outside the agricultural structure and pricing too. I mean, I don't think we can't compete with the biggest names in pork producing. So direct marketing just allows you to explain those things face to face with somebody, as opposed to just trying to do it through a label, trying to do it through a price tag. Just face to face.
I think, yeah, and in addition to that, I think just knowing, just that connection that you're able to develop between the consumer and the farmer on the level that Steve was talking about, and also just for me too on a personal level. I mean, it's nice to meet the people who are eating your food, and nice to get the feedback. You know, people come back and say, "Oh, that was really great," or so I think for me it just helps. It just helps you feel good about what you're doing, I guess. I actually got into farming because I was concerned about environmental issues. I mean, that's what brought me to farming in the first place. So I think I probably did come into it as an activist originally, but then discovered that I love the work. So I feel really lucky that that's the case, because I feel like it's really good work and I love the work.
I graduated from college with a creative writing degree. So how I got here was not designed at all, and just chance. And I would say the fellow who I was working for, he was doing grass-fed, corn-finished beef, which in the scale of things I believe has less environmental impact. And so that kind of started me on the path. And he was also a really good steward of the land. He took his farming extremely seriously, more than just on the money level. He just was meticulous about things, and he really cared. And yeah, that seeing someone operate on that level has instilled that in me, and hopes that I could do that someday as well. Every single day that I farm, I know that I don't know everything there is to know. Every single day. I mean, you can't, if you grow old when you stop learning, stick to farming, you'll never get old, because you'll learn. I mean, you can be work the same field for 30 years and something will be different, something's changed, and so every day it's something new.
Smoky House Center had been running a youth program for the last 36 years here on the farm in Danby, and I've been here for 3 years as a farm manager. And last fall, the board of directors of Smoky House decided that they needed to take a hiatus from the youth programming because the program wasn't financially self-sustaining. And so at that point in time, you know, Steve and I were the farm managers, and we just started, you know, talking with the board about keeping the farm running privately, and kind of entered into this very lengthy lease agreement that's still, well, we've got a 1-year lease, but it'll be renegotiated. There's a lot of kind of tricky things about our lease situation because of the situation. We're leasing a lot of infrastructure and you know, equipment, and about 100 acres. So it was kind of a it's a unique and evolving situation. So we'll just kind of see where it goes from here.
I think a lot of the older farmers, I know especially in this area, there's some farms that have been going for many, many generations around here, and being young, you don't have that land capital behind you. You don't have some of the machinery. And that's, you know, land and machinery are a huge hurdle to getting started. Forget the price of everything else. Smoky House holds a lot of land, and a lot of that is in agricultural easements, which for tax purposes, they need to have it stay that way. You know, it just makes a lot of sense. And so, you know, they want to see agriculture survive here, and it possibly is an avenue for small farms to work with someone that does have land resources, and there might be an opportunity for things to happen. I know there's been a lot of attempts at things in the past, and so how far it would get, I don't know, but it definitely, you know, if you look at needs and resources, there's a pair that might work out, small farmers. So
we I don't always attend the workshops, but I always know what NOFA Vermont is doing, and what Raffle is doing, and just kind of checking in on what's going on. And I do attend when, you know, some of the workshops when I can, and the, you know, the winter conferences and those kinds of things. Sometimes in the summer it's a little tricky to get away, but I think too, just all of the support that there's been for marketing in the farmers markets, and, you know, just promoting, being in a place where just in general local agriculture is promoted so heavily, that takes a huge piece out of the marketing part for us, you know. I think in a lot of other places you have to sell not only your own product, but you sort of have to sell the whole idea, and why would you want to, and so I think that that's kind of been one of the greatest things about being in a place that has both Raffle and NOFA doing such good work.
To know that there is an organization that is trying to get voices heard and highlight some of the other models that are out there is, I mean, that speaks hugely about the fact that we live in Rutland County and, you know, have this available to us. I think that's awesome. So this valley in particular has amazing soils. You wouldn't think it, just not knowing anything more than some of the general surrounding areas. I'm from over by Albany, New York originally, and we have all clay, and to come up here and to see the soils that are here is fairly amazing to me. And so that's one thing that definitely is part of it. And the other thing is, I mean, you look at Rutland's farmers market, and I mean, it's the biggest in the state, and, you know, that just says something that you can produce and there's a market out there. And we'll have to see as more young farmers do come online. Hopefully there probably will be some sort of saturation point, but maybe demand keeps up with it and it gets into its own little cycle, and away we go.
You know, you look at the Rutland Farmers Market and you have to wonder how many more produce vendors a town like Rutland can support, but I think there's always room for getting into the hospitals and the schools and, you know, so maybe more institutional places. And, you know, if we can't go directly to consumers, I think there's still plenty of people who, you know, need good food. So I think maybe it'll just be a little more creative marketing. You know, we're at this juncture where people, you know, the health effects of how we're eating and the environmental effects of how we're eating and, you know, the gas, you know, the petroleum that's going into our food. And I think that, you know, it's going to be, is there more supply or more demand, but at any, you know, given little point in time. But the reality is that I think that this is the path that we're heading on and need to keep heading on is, you know, more sustainably, more locally grown food. And so, you know, we need to be feeding ourselves.